What's up, everyone? It's your boy Killer Shrew Fan coming to you with another review video, and today we will be discussing the new for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Attack Pack Dilophosaurus by Mattel. Now this is the smallest range of dinosaurs that Mattel has given us for the toy line. They are meant to be dinosaurs that move in herds or packs. So the thing about them is they're cheap, they're affordable, so you can get multiple, and actually they've made several different variants of each of their Attack Pack dinosaurs. So even if you didn't want to buy, 3 of these individual Dilophosaurus, you could go out and get the ones in the exclusive packs that each feature a unique paint job, and then you can have a totally unique Dilophosaurus pack. But anywho, I am actually really excited to take a look at this Jurassic World toy because, Mattel has just been knocking it out of the park with everything that they do, and this is no exception. I mean, it is, it does have its faults, but then again, it's a $7, $8 toy, so what do you expect? But yeah, I think it's gonna be kind of what you pay for. I think it's definitely going to be worth the money. So without further ado, we're going to take a closer look at the packaging, and then we are going to break it open. I'm sorry. And then we are going to give you a closer look at the dinosaur itself. So without further ado, let's do this. So through the clear bubble, you can see the Dilophosaurus framed against the eruption of Mount Sibo in the background, and you can also see the little spitting projectile piece that comes with this Dilophosaurus, which is why this packaging features dozens and so many warning labels. Here it is in all sorts of languages under the Dilophosaurus Attack Pack. You get 2 warnings down here telling you about the small parts, and then another warning up in the top right corner of the packaging, just so that everyone is thoroughly aware that this has a choking hazard with it. The main draw of the Attack Pack dinosaurs is that they are posable, of course, and then down in the bottom left corner we have got Owen and Blue, Blue roaring triumphantly, and then the Jurassic World logo up in the top left corner. So what we have seen before, done here again. The back of the box features a sort of diorama of all of the other dinosaurs that are available in the Wave 1 Attack Pack lineup. Very much Kenner in its nature of showing what else you can buy, gives kids something else to strive for, and collectors a checklist. As you can see, you've got Blue, the green Velociraptor, the Dilophosaurus, which is the star of our review today, the Gallimimus, which we have already taken a look at, link is in the description, and the Dimorphodon, review coming soon of that particular figure. Up in the top left corner, you've got the Jurassic World logo, and then in the top right corner, you are reminded to get the Jurassic World Facts app so that you can scan the digital code on the bottom foot of the dinosaur and get in on the digital action of Jurassic World. Alright, that is enough about the packaging. Now is the time, the hardest part of any collector's job, and that is opening this dinosaur and freeing it from this plastic and cardboard prison. So if you come to the back here, you can see there's a little notch, makes for a good starting point, and we are just going to try ever so carefully to peel this up and away, with doing as little damage as possible to the box itself, because I am a sentimental fool, and that is all there is to it. Just nice and easy. Don't make any sudden movements. Oh no. So close. Okay, so there is the card itself. Came away with pretty minimal damage, actually, I mean, if you wanted to glue that back down, you probably could. I mean, it's obviously not going to be perfect, but it can be done. And, then again, these are the cheapest toys out there, for the Mattel line, other than, like, the minis and some of the RC cars. So, honestly, you can have one to keep in the box, one to play with. But yeah, that does come with a sort of repair option if you do so incredibly gently. Like there, if I hold it up, you can barely tell. There's some rough area up here, but you can barely tell. But enough of that, let's get to the dinosaur itself. So it kind of has this plastic kind of tray that it sits in. Oops, bumped my mic. So it sits in there against that, and it keeps it nice and cradled and safe. And then you can just pop that right out, stand him up there. And then you've also got his spit there. We got to get the Dilophosaurus spit out somehow. So ooh! And I already freaking lost it. Okay, I might have exaggerated. I didn't lose it right off the bat, but it is a small piece and hard to find once you do lose track of it. But I did find it, and you can see our Dilophosaurus here standing in all of its glory with that projectile piece firmly in place in the mouth. And we're going to give you a closer look here, starting at the head. As you can see, tiny head here. I mean, it is absolutely minuscule, and yet Mattel have crammed so much detail into this absolutely microscopic surface. I mean, just for a little frame of reference, that is my thumb. My thumbnail is almost as big as this Dilophosaurus's head, and yet that didn't stop Mattel from cramming it full of details. You can see the fenestral areas, you can see scales, you can see the eye is ridged with eyelids. Everything has been addressed on this absolutely minuscule head. I love the crests. They have a great shape to them. My only complaint is that the back of them is not painted red like the rest, so it kind of gets lost in the rest of the fray. The teeth are absolutely tiny, not really individually sculpted, but there is definite definition in between the dentition in there. That was a bit of a tongue twister. So yes, absolutely great job on this head on Mattel's part. If we move down the body, you can see you've got large knobs kind of as the sort of hinge area for the frill. Don't really care for that, but then the neck features some lovely wrinkles and tendons. The rib cage is visible at the midsection. There's some lovely bags of skin, very subtly sculpted in there around the thighs. A lovely vein intercutting between the upper and lower region. And as you can see, the texture continues all the way down to the tip of the tail. Going back up the opposite side, same story. Subtle texturing, little veins, tendons, bags of skin, the rib cage, kind of pushed up against the curve of the body there, and lovely tendons and musculature in the neck straining forward as the creature leans forward in preparation of spitting. And we come back up to that beautiful head sculpt. Mine unfortunately has a little red splotch of paint. Couldn't see that in the packaging. So yeah, Mattel isn't perfect, but then again, who is? I mean, this is pretty great stuff that we're getting from them, so I'll give them a mulligan on that one. Now, if we take a look at the arms, they do feature some lovely musculature, very subtle once again. Unfortunately, the finger claws are not painted, but then again, what else is new? That's not something I expect anymore. But also the toe claws are not painted on this model, which is bizarre. Usually the toe claws are painted on the other dinosaurs, but the feet are a little oversized. I assume that's for stability, and there isn't a lot of definition in the musculature here. If we move along the underbelly, you can see the sort of airbrushed throat area, more lovely sort of crosshatch scaling going on down here. And then if we take a look at the feet here, you can see the, first of all, the QR code to scan into your phone. So if you want to do that, here is a nice, good look at that. You have an opportunity to scan this into your app and learn more about the Dilophosaurus. And then, of course, the other foot, which we will get to here in a moment, features the Jurassic World emblem, which has been moved from the thigh down to the foot, as you can see. And then, of course, the texturing continues down to the end of the tail here as well. Let's talk paint. It's pretty simple, but as you can see, the frill is pretty complex. It's got some lovely gradation from that sort of darker red to that cream color to the green of the actual main body. I don't think this is painted in the factory. I think it's sort of printed this way because it kind of has that texture of a 3D printer. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at it funny, or maybe mine is just a little odd, but it's got a nice gloss to it to give it that sort of snake skin. And then, of course, the throat features that cream coloration, and then the rest of it is really just this kind of greenish color with some black freckling going on in there. The tail does feature some gray stripes, but as you can see, they just start at the tail and they don't carry up onto the torso, which is very weird. Usually the paint stops at the tail, doesn't start at it. Now for the points of articulation on this Dilophosaurus, it's really pretty simple. The frill, as you can see, is hinged, so you can kind of pull those forward. I mean, just looking at it from the front, that is the quintessential Dilophosaurus look. I mean, that looks fantastic. I don't so much care for the permanently attached frill. I do wish I had the option to take it off, put it back on, but they kind of took a Hasbro note there and gave it that sort of hinged frill. The arms, of course, move forward and backwards. They're kind of hindered by the frill at times, but they can go 360 if you like. The legs can move forward a little bit. They kind of have their snap-in position, so you can kind of get him in a sitting position there. Stand him back in sort of a crouched position as if he's pursuing a mouse or some other small prey item, or you can have him reared back and spitting at a larger prey item, and then the tail is a nice soft plastic, and then the jaw does not articulate because it has to be permanently open to house that spitting projectile. So yeah, not bad articulation. For a quick measurement, we're going to go ahead and bring in our trusty dusty tape measure here, and you're looking at right around 5.5 inches from the tip of the tail all the way to the front of the snout. And then if we take a look at the height here, the highest point is of course going to be the frill in the case, if I can get him to stand now, in the case of this Dilophosaurus, and that measures just under 4 inches off the ground. So yes, one of Mattel's smaller models, but supposedly it's supposed to be in scale with their human figures. For size comparisons, I don't really have many interesting things, seeing as I'm away from my Kenner collection right now, so I'm just going to have to go ahead and bring in our recently reviewed Attack Pack Gallimimus, and you can see how these two dinosaurs size up to each other if they choose to stand. Come on, come on! There we go. So yes, there you can see the two together. The Gallimimus does stand a little taller than the Dilophosaurus, but I do think the Dilophosaurus is a bit longer. And, you know, just for a fun comparison, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Hasbro's attempt at the Dilophosaurus, and as you can see, if he'll stand and not get his frills in the way, yes, Mattel definitely took a note from Hasbro's book by giving us that sort of hinged frill there, as you can see. But at least with Mattel's, they stay in place, you know? You can move them forward or backwards, and they're not gonna like flop back or around. See, like, they are locked into a position there. Mine might have a kind of a loose joint here, but, you know, I mean, I shake it and it's fine. It doesn't go anywhere. Meanwhile, with this, it's just a clanky, clankety, clank, clank dinosaur. I think it was supposed to be part of the gimmick, but, whatever. And, of course, what would one of our size comparisons be without our good friend, Chris Pratt? And Chris Pratt is going to be watching this Dilophosaurus a little warily there after what happened with our introduction. He just got a little too close, didn't have his guard up, and yeah, that didn't work out for him. But supposedly these dinosaurs are in scale with one another. If we look at the original Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park, this seems a little bigger, but we can assume that one was a child. Well, everyone, that is going to do it for our look at the new for 2018 Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Attack Pack Dilophosaurus. Overall, I do love this model. It is the quintessential Dilophosaurus. It has the look, it has a little added on projectile that you can put in and take out. My only grievance is definitely in the paint department. It seems a little lackluster, and the fact that the frill is a permanently fixed on element of this dinosaur. It can't be out of view at any time, which is a problem for me, but hey, might not be a problem for others. Now, if you ask me the magic question, who done it better, Kenner, Mattel, Hasbro? Obviously not Hasbro. We had that little gag comparison back there. Kenner or Mattel? That's very difficult for me. I do think that Kenner's original spitting ones, you know, the ones that you filled with water and you spat, had a better feel and a much better gimmick, and the fact that they didn't have a permanently fixed on frill definitely helped. The paint job seemed more interesting, but I do think Mattel has a more accurate sculpture going on here. So I do think they both have their strong points, but if you ask me in terms of playability and just overall fun, I am going to say Kenner takes this one. In terms of sculpture, I will give it to Mattel, but in terms of playability and just sort of for the fun element, Kenner is going to win that for me. As always, I would love to hear what you guys think of this model. Do you own it yet? Do you love it? Are you going to pick it up? Do you agree with me that Kenner did it better? What is your favorite from the Attack Pack Wave 1 line? Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments section below. I want to thank you guys all so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed our review, don't be afraid to let us know by hitting that like button, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out. That's going to do it for us, and goodbye.